this is what the Miami Heat can look like? How good did it feel to see it come together on both ends and the way the team looked?
Yeah, that's probably appropriate to say that we put it together on both ends because we've been doing some better things. I mentioned that the last two games, you saw our activity level go up. And even last game, some of the ball movement you saw tonight, that was there in that loss against Toronto. Really moved the ball, shared it, and we just missed a lot of those opportunities. It was nice to see us be on the other side of the transition game for once, this season. But there was a lot of activity, throughout the course of the game, either defensively making multiple efforts, which they're a very challenging team to guard. I mean, obviously it was different when Lillard went out, but they can move you around and they play fast. We had those efforts in transition. We were disruptive defensively, and then we had 15 offensive rebounds. So I think as Pat calls it, the big muscle areas. We did much better across the board on both sides of the floor in those areas.
The imprint of Caleb. It's tough to be 7 for 8 and yet make a bigger impact from a defensive standpoint.
Yeah, if he didn't score one basket tonight, he was going to be the player of the game regardless. His activity level, taking the challenge on, they're two great, guards that your pickup points have to be so much higher on both those guys than typically every night. And then even when he was switching, and had Nurkic in the post, he just used his speed and his quickness, his disruptiveness to really turn it into an advantage for us. It felt like he was the Matrix out there. It felt like he was in a bunch of different places at the same time. And then he just made some plays in transition, and I thought he played within himself, but the activity was really contagious for everybody else.
Jokic getting his chance. Now, I know there were fouls, but just your thought about getting a chance to get him in there and at least getting that first taste.
Yeah, sometimes that's just the way it goes. Sometimes, when you have to be ready so you don't have to get ready, well, you never know when your opportunity is going to come. But he's been putting in a lot of time. He still has a lot to learn, but the guys, they encourage him. They see his skill set. They see how he could help. It was good to have him out there when we were playing well. So you can see the possibilities, and hopefully we can just continue to build on that.
And going back to him in the third quarter, obviously, was there something that you liked in the first half and the appearance, even despite the fouls?
Yeah, there are some things offensively where we can move them around, and when they went to their small lineup in the first half, that hurt us. It was a short stretch, but he's mobile. Even though he did foul, a lot of those were Lillard pick and rolls. I mean, he's going to draw fouls on your best defenders. Nico will continue to work at it, drill at it, but I thought we were able to manage that smaller lineup, in that second half a little bit better with him out there.
Thoughts on Kyle beyond the shooting?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's all about winning, with Kyle and his impact. He's selfless, so, we still have to develop some continuity, even though we've brought a bunch of guys back, that the starting lineup is a little bit different, and we like the direction it's going, but that doesn't mean it's going to be just everything is great. You got to work through some things. We have some firepower. We have a lot of guys that can, do a lot with the ball in their hands, and that just takes a little bit of time. All the little nuances sometimes can knock players out of rhythm, and Kyle is such a giving player. He just wants everybody to play well. So sometimes when you're trying to set everybody up, sometimes that just takes you a little bit out of rhythm. And tonight I thought he was assertive on his catches, and he did it with the ball in his hands, and he did it with when other guys were making plays, and he was knocking down big shots. And And that, again, I've said it before, that's part of his greatness as a player. He knows how to impact the game in a lot of different ways. Defensively, he was also very good. I love seeing him when he's the low man down there, amongst the bigs and the trees, and it's like 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and he ends up with the ball in his hands. He's extremely disruptive, on the weak side defensively.
And Max's ignitability, and what he did for the second unit, that you had that nice flow. He came in, he sparked you also.
Yeah, and that's the word I use with him and quite a few guys. He knocks down one, and he literally feels like he just knocked down 7. So it's not like he hits 3 in a row. He just needs to see one go down, and that's where that ignitability happens. But he did a lot of other good things too. Defensively, he's really good on the glass. He's in the right position quite often now, and he's getting better. Putting the ball on the floor and making some plays as well. But his minutes in that second unit was really inspiring. They really took control of the game in the second half.
6 guys in double figures, but nobody over 20. Is that the kind of offensive point distribution?
Yeah, the 33 assists and the ball movement. But again, you have to stay process oriented. We had a lot of those possessions in the Toronto loss, and we did not, to be fair, we did not execute well going down the stretch, but we had a lot of these things happening really for the last 3 games. And so sometimes you just have to stay with it, trust that you're doing things the right way, and then eventually the basketball gods reward you for playing the right way and sharing the ball. That's how we are. We're not ball dominant with one guy getting a 40 usage. We're at our best when there's a bunch of different weapons putting a lot of stress on the defense where you don't know where it's coming from. All right, thank you.
Thanks.